Good morning and welcome everyone to Unity of Kalamazoo. We've got some great music in store for you, I know that much at least, and some song leaders, one of which we have not seen grace the stage with her wonderful song stylings, and that's Miss Leanne. Can you give him a wave, Miss Leanne? Hello, hello, yeah. And Marianne is back up. This is your second time, right, Marianne? Second time song leading. So we're just excited to get some new people on different assignments up here with music. So anyway, for special music today, we have a personal friend of mine, Brandon Pacheco, joining us. Brandon's over here. Yeah. And he's going to play violin. Wonderful violinist. I don't know, you'll really appreciate it. But as for now, we're going to do some music all together. So why don't we stand up, and we'll start with absolutely everything. All right, thanks for being here today.
I have hope, I have peace. Thanks, Marianne. Thanks, Leanne. Nice job. Nice job. So good morning. I'm Lynn Sager, your platform assistant for today. And thanks to all the teams that helped put this service together, ushers, PowerPoint, sound, streaming, hospitality, script bookstore, youth leaders, and of course, our music team. Today we have Brent, John, and Dave, and our song leaders. So thank you, thank you, thank you. If this is your first time here, welcome. And we are glad you are here. There's an information card in the pew pocket in the pew in front of you, and so if you would fill that out and give it to an usher on your way out, they have a small gift for you. So welcome. A few announcements. They're going to be on the slide. I'll give a little background and kind of tell you where other information is that you need. Don't forget your donations for the Animal Rescue Project that is going on right now. The collection bins are out there in the hall. There is a list out here at the desk and also over the bins that tells you all the things that they need, and as you walk out you can also see what's already been donated and kind of see if there's some things that you want to add to that collection. Choir practice tomorrow at 5:30. We'll be singing on October 22nd. This Wednesday, our Unity and Community is hosting a dinner out. We are going to Fricano's, which is over there on 6th Street. If you haven't signed up already, and I think just about everybody has, make sure you sign up out there in the lobby. And next Sunday, Reverend Judy is going to start her series, Aging as a Spiritual Practice. And her talk will be Adulthood to Elderhood, Shifting from Role to Soul. And she will have that theme continue through the month of October. And then Reverend Brett will be back to share his thoughts on the 15th. And on Thursday, October 5th, we'll be having another evening of music with Joy Zimmerman and special guests Carolyn Keeble and Beth Patterson. We've heard those two several times before, and you won't want to miss that. Suggested love offering of $15. So again, that's Thursday, October 5th. We are also, the church is hosting a workshop by Donna Odom, Journaling for Personal and Community Transformation. It starts on the 12th and goes for a consecutive 4 Thursdays from 4 to 6. There's more information out there on the counter. So we have a lot going on. So stay connected, check the e-zine, and I think that you will find out all the details there. So if you would please, let's join together in our mission statement. As an all-inclusive community, we awaken to spirit, grow into our souls, and build a better world. And our vision statement together. We celebrate a world of ever-awakening consciousness, abundance, peace, and love for all. Our core values of love, authenticity, stewardship, oneness, and playfulness. And our land and labor acknowledgement. Our spiritual community pays reverence and respect to all Black, Indigenous, and people of colors whose lands and labor were forcibly taken. We pledge to actively dismantle racism, discrimination, and oppression in any form. And if there are any children, you can come to the center aisle and head downstairs. And let's offer the blessing to them. Rub your hands together. And as you go your way, know that you are loved, special, and important to us.
Good morning, everyone. Let me get to the right spot here. Today's daily word is healing. Divine life lives as me. I am whole and well. When I am experiencing a healing need, I focus my thoughts beyond illness and discomfort. Even as I seek treatment for the injury or illness, I see myself whole. I remember that I am created in the image according to the likeness of God. I know my life is God's life, living as me. Divine life fills every cell, strengthens every muscle, bone, and organ, and quickens every nerve in my body. It restores perfect order to all my body's functions, releasing and replacing anything unlike itself. When someone asks me to pray with them, I do not ask about their symptoms or circumstances. I affirm the healing activity of divine life in each one with whom I pray. I see them as the spiritual beings as they are, whole and well. And from John 1, verse 4, in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. So let's meditate. If you would, get yourself comfortable, close your eyes, and just allow yourself to be here in this moment. What does that mean, to be here in this moment? It means to really let go of all your past and all your worries about the future and just really accept this moment as it is. This beautiful, perfect moment. The mind can't understand it, but I assure you, this moment has everything you need to experience peace, joy, love, and God. And I know our mind tries to convince us otherwise, and that's okay. The mind can say whatever it wants to say. You just simply notice what it's saying and then allow those thoughts to pass on by, gently and without effort. And I have some good news for you. You don't even have to fight against the mind. You don't have to resist it, and you don't even have to believe it. What? I don't have to believe my mind? No. You are the one that is beyond the mind, the one that has an understanding of peace. You are the peace that passeth all understanding. It's beyond the mind, and it's only understandable by your true essence, your soul. So as we embrace this perfect moment, I invite you to let go of the need to fix anything about yourself, to fix anything about anybody else, or to even fix anything about the world. I know the mind might have something to say about that, and it's okay. It's okay. I'm just inviting you for the short time that we're together to just allow this moment, this time to be absolutely perfect and filled with the peace and joy and truth of who you really are. You don't have to go looking for that peace or joy or truth. You just need to let go of those limiting beliefs that would have you think you are otherwise. But please know, you are absolutely perfect. And I know we've gathered a lot of ideas and thoughts that would have us believe otherwise, but you are absolutely perfect. You are lovable and you, in the eyes of God, could not be any more perfect. And I hope you breathe that in, because it literally only takes an instant for a miracle to happen. Would you allow God's love in your heart? Would you allow a miracle to take place to help you to awaken to the beautiful truth that you already are, and that you have always been and you will always be? And so on this day, I wish you the infinite possibilities of who you are. And no matter what limits you from your mind, you don't need to fight it, but you don't need to believe it either. Just let it pass on by and then come back to being aware of your breath. That's it, just to be aware, just to notice the compassionate witness to you, to others, and to the world, to allow everything to be okay. It doesn't mean you can't make changes, but those changes get to come from a place of peace and groundedness in our hearts. You are everything you have been looking for. You are everything you have been looking for. Namaste.
There we go. So like I was saying earlier, personal friend of mine, Brandon Pacheco, I don't know, our journey starts at Western, right, where we met? I think I was on my way out and you were coming in or something to that effect. Yeah. So it started as little baby students, you know what I mean, both of us, and progressed into the professional world. And every time I've needed a violinist just right there, ready to go, Brandon's been my guy. So we've done lots of pit orchestra work together, some chamber music stuff here or there, and just navigated around. And we always seem to find our way back to playing together. So I really enjoy that. He's wonderful, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his piece this morning, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So, Brandon.
Brent basically asks, he says, bring two pieces that are pretty. So this is one. This is The Vocalist by Rachmaninoff.
It's no wonder they use violins for evoking emotions in movies and that, right? It's just beautiful, and it was lovely accompaniment. Thank you for all the music, to everyone in the band, Leanne, Marianne. Thank you for your wonderful singing as well. One of your birthdays down here, right? Was Leanne? Okay. Happy birthday to you. Well, the title of my talk today is All Things Are Possible with God. With God, all things are possible. And my son sometimes asks me, well, what are you speaking about today? He doesn't really care, but he asks me anyhow. And I feel like every time he asks me, it's this title that I give him. He's like, didn't you already give that? I go, well, I speak at a lot of different churches, you know. And he's like, yeah, but haven't you shared that before? I keep track. I have a sheet, a Google sheet, so that I know what topic I did where I go. So I don't try to repeat myself too often. So no, I have not done this talk here before. But I have done the talk. When I first did it, actually, it was Unity of Pontiac. Oh gosh, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, I suppose. And they were kind enough to let me practice speaking, and they were wonderful to me. And so when the night before I was going, or day before I was going to give the talk with them, I was driving for Ridley's Bakeries, who I used to work for, over in Troy. And I put on about 40,000 miles a year. I did a lot of catering throughout the Metro Detroit area. One day I was out delivering a gift basket for a place way out in Never Never Land. And it had snowed the day before, snow or kind of rain, I can't remember. It had melted. I remember it was melting. And then the sun came out, but it was still cold. And so I was coming down this hill, and then I realized that this hill came to a very abrupt right-hand turn. And it was a gravel road, and what had happened, the gravel road had, as the water had melted, it had iced over the whole road. And so I'm like, I'm not going to make this turn. I got clear on that. So I'm like, well, I don't want to go down, the embankment sideways. So I just decided, I'll brake as much as I can, and then I'm just going to have to go over the curb or the embankment. So I did that, and I'm down in this kind of pit area, and I look off to my right, and I see a guy there in his pickup truck, and he said, yeah, it's slippery, ain't it? And I said, yes, it is. Nice observation. I didn't say that. But he said, well, just so you know, I've tried, and it's going to take about 6 hours before they get a tow truck out this way. And I thought, I've got things to do, And what popped in my head immediately was, really, do I believe that with God all things are possible? And that's the first thing. You have to believe that it's possible, right? Because if you don't, then don't even bother. Don't even bother. But I ask myself, do I believe with God this is possible? And my answer to no matter what the question is, it is always yes. It is always yes. And so I got back in my car and I asked myself that question. I go, yes, it is possible. And then in that moment of just kind of centering myself and having this awareness that it is possible, I thought, I think I can make it out of here. And so I was looking, and I noticed that from the embankment that there was like kind of a heavy slope, but it kind of gradually eased out of that until it got back on the road. And I go, well, if I actually stay in this embankment until it eases out of here and back on the road, I might be able to do this. So I start my car up and I start going, and I catch maybe a small tree or something underneath that caught me. So I'm like, okay, that didn't work. So I backed up. I went around that, and I got back up, went through the embankment, and I'm back on the road. And the guy said, how in the hell did you do that, And I said, I don't know. But this is what happened. So I continue on my journey. I deliver the gift basket, and when I came back, the guy was gone as well. He had gotten his truck out also. Because now he knew it was possible too, right? And that's how life is so many times. You know, one of the things I love about this talk is because there's people in here, we all go through our struggles, right? But there's probably people in here that maybe have cancer or know loved ones that do, or, you know, have something kind of daunting in their life going on. And it's challenging. And personally, I went through cancer before as well. I was meditating, and in my meditation, I saw a nuclear bomb going off. And I go, whoops, something's coming up here on that one. And it really scared me, and I didn't know what. And I go, I don't know what you're trying to communicate to me, God, but just guide me through this whole thing, you know. And I think it was a couple days later, I was told that I had cancer in my meditation. And you know how, you know, God's always speaking to all of us, and sometimes it's a little more difficult to hear if our mind is busy or we don't believe that God's speaking to us. Whatever, you know, happens, it happens to each of us individually, differently. And so when I heard that I had cancer, I thought, well, it was subtle that came through, but I need to treat this like this is, you know, because there was this vision of the nuclear bomb. Something's going on. And so I need to treat this seriously. So I thought, what am I most afraid of? And I thought, I'm most afraid of what people think of me. You know, my need for approval has always been very strong, not near as much as it used to be, because Lynn and I were talking about this. Fortunately, I'm up here doing the thing that frightened me most, and I've continued to have this beautiful opportunity to continue to move through those fears. And it's been a complete blessing. But in asking myself, you know, what am I most afraid of? And having that awareness, like I'm really worried about what people think of me. And I said, I'm ready, Father. I'm ready to face that fear. Whatever it looks like, I'm ready to face that. So it was either the next day or 2 days after that, the Little League Baseball, somebody from the league called me up and said, hey, look, you got your son signed up for baseball, but we need a coach. We don't have a coach. And I'm like, oh, boy. Don't have anybody else on that, on that list there. So I had played a lot of baseball. I had even coached a co-ed team in college. And I knew, but it was a whole different story coaching kids. And I wasn't afraid of the kids. It was all the parents on the sidelines, right? We all know that. Like, why'd you make that call, you know? Or why you need to play my son more, or whatever it was, you know? So that really did scare me. But I knew that call came for a reason. I really did. And so I said, yes, I will coach. And it was this journey that was just beginning, and my acceptance of it, it was shortly after that, I don't remember if it was days or a week or two after it, I heard Spirit tell me, you have cut the energy cord from cancer. And it wasn't meaning that I was out of the kind of the darkness, if you will, but it was the beginning of moving out of it. And from there, I started getting guidance. And I should say, I was prodded to leave my mentor and my holistic practitioner who had been that for me for many years. And I was being prodded by Spirit to do that. And then it was shortly after that I had this experience of going through this cancer. Now I didn't have anybody to turn to, right? And my buddy is really, really intuitive. He's, he's one of these guys you walk in and he said, what did you eat last Thursday? Or you got something going on with your mom, you know, and it's affecting your health. You know, he's truly that kind of person. So I had lost that ability to go to him, which was perfect because I was looking to him way too much and I wasn't looking within and I wasn't going to God. So in doing so and coming up with cancer, it's like, okay, what do I do now? I don't have my mentor to turn to. And so I heard Spirit say, take, there was like 4 things. Take hickory, take, it was orange peel, I think, and there's a supplement for that, and cinnamon. There was one other one. I can't even remember what it was. But I asked my buddy, I said, hey, look, I got a hit on these things. And he said, well, wherever you got that information from, you're spot on. It's all for the stomach lining, healing the stomach lining. And after that point, I knew I was going to be taken care of. And in fact, I heard the song start playing in my head, Do You Believe in Magic? And once I heard that, I'm like, I feel emotional with it now, because I know some of you are struggling in whatever ways. Maybe it's health, maybe it's money, maybe it's relationships. I don't know what it is. We all have something going on. That's why we're here, is for God to bring these things to the surface so that we can heal them. And one of the ways that we can heal them is to have trust and faith that everything is unfolding the way it needs to. Not only is it unfolding the way it needs to, but with God, all things truly are possible. And I've lived my life that way for a long time. And I think it was 2015, I had a kind of an awakening experience at that point in time. And for a brief moment in time, I let go of this idea of who I was, and I stepped beyond my mind, I stepped beyond my body. And when that happened, and I saw that I was not this idea that I thought I was, but I was in alignment with God. I was that, everything that I was looking for. When I had that, I go, oh my God, everything truly is possible. Only those limiting beliefs that I carry in my mind are the only things that block me from fully living and realizing this truth. Only our beliefs in our head are the only things that limit us from living that truth. And my teacher said, and he meant this literally, he said, when you step beyond the limits of your mind, you can do anything you want. If you want to touch the far side of the moon, you can touch the far side of the moon. If you want to see the end of the galaxy, you can see the end of the galaxy. Bold statement. And for me, I'm right with him. I don't want to limit myself. Somebody says to me, you can't fly. I'm like, okay, that's your thought, that's your belief. I am not limiting myself. And Jesus says, or in the Bible it says, even with the faith of a mustard seed. You ever see a mustard seed? It's like really small. Even with the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. And Jesus said, you can do all things that I have done and even greater things. Right? And it wasn't just Jesus in the Bible that actually raised the dead. Paul has the same experience. Yogananda, in his book, The Autobiography of a Yogi, fantastic book. They speak of one of his teachers raising somebody from the dead. Yogananda lost a deer that he had befriended, and the deer got killed, he thought, wrongly or accidentally, and raised the life of the deer back up. There's been many reported incidences of people being raised back from the dead. We can start a little smaller if you'd like. It's okay. But I do want you to understand what the possibilities are. Please. Understand that possibility. And it begins with saying, and it's okay if your mind says, no, I don't believe this is true. What I'm inviting you to do is to hold it as a possibility. And, with any goal, this is true with any goal, pick a goal and then wait for God to bring things to you that block you from fully realizing and manifesting that goal. Our challenge is, a lot of times is, and I went through this experience. One time I'm like, I got just super clear. I can create anything I want. I can have anything I want in my life. And boy, did I go crazy. You know, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to get me some more money. I'm going to get me this. I'm going to get me that. Most of it is all material stuff, you know. And I started just saying, I want this, and it's some emotional, some of it spiritual. I had a whole list of things that I was ready to take it all. And that was a mistake. It was a mistake because I was overloaded. I was overwhelmed. Spirit's trying to support us, really. They're not only trying to support us, they are supporting us to the best of the ability that we can allow it to happen. But if you've got, 20 things out there, even 5 things out there, there's some of those things that may be in direct conflict with some of the others. And so, meanwhile, you're asking for money, but then you might have this belief that, that's, money's dirty, it's of greed, it's of power, and then you have another goal, and so you're trying to weave these goals together. So this is my suggestion to you. Take one goal. My teacher used to call it one-pointed faith. Take one goal, whatever that is, and you work on that one, and you find how quickly you can manifest that. Because you're not in direct conflict with all the other things that you're asking for. And so it can happen a lot more. Now, needless to say, there's some goals that are bigger than others. Some take time. We've spent our whole lifetime digging ourselves a hole. It doesn't always get filled back in overnight, but it can. And I hold that as a possibility as well. But my suggestion is pick a goal that you want to accomplish and then give it over to God and trust that whatever is in the way of that goal, that it will come to fruition. I did something called the Ashai Ascension Meditation. It's been my home meditation. My teacher, long name, Maharishi Sadashiva Asham. He did not take disciples. For him, it didn't resonate with that, but he did. He was a spectacular teacher. He was an American. He went by the name MSI because, for obvious reasons, it was a lot easier and shorter. But he would talk about the one-pointed faith. And also what he would talk about is if you became an Ashaya monk and you wanted to dedicate your life to God and to this teaching, he would invite people to give over all their money, whether it was to their organization or somewhere else, give up all your money. And when I first started this was back in 98, I go, is this cultish or what's going on here, I didn't know because it's like, why is he trying to get all my money, And it wasn't until later on that I really understood the magnificence of that request. And that magnificence is that when you give all your money away, now you're forced to deal with your lack of abundance. You're forced to deal with all your money issues. You're forced to deal with, can this be manifested? Can I create this? How am I going to be supported? And so that's what goals do when you pick one. Everything that is meant to, everything that is stands in the way of the truth will come to the surface so you can heal it and move it to the side. Just let it go and heal it. That's the beauty of doing one-pointed faith, is that you can just manifest anything you want. So it's really been a spectacular experience doing it that way. And I want to say too, for me, I have my primary goal. And I would invite you to have a primary goal as well. And the primary goal is always, and this is the reason we are here, to simply awaken to the truth that we are. To awaken the truth of you are. You can say your goal is to be in pure love, to pure joy, pure peace. All of those things will lead you to a place deeper within yourself. And there's a phrase by a sage that goes, look for God and you will find yourself. Look for yourself and you will find God. So whatever your path is, discover the truth of who you are. That should be your primary goal. Then if you want to create other goals, that's fine. But there's a verse in the Bible that says, "Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all else shall be added unto you." All else. So to be honest with you, I really don't have goals except for, Father, help me to realize the truth of who I am. That's it. And then I just give it over to God, knowing that God will provide for me whatever I need when I need it. And the beauty about doing that one goal is none of it gets in the way of your awakening. It's like for me, I feel like things happen very quickly because God provides me exactly what I need when I need it. I'm not going to lie to you either. It's like I used to be in the automotive industry. I had a good job. That was my degree. I made a lot of money, company car, that kind of thing. And I left the auto industry because I just wanted to explore more. I was exploring with meditation. I was exploring with teaching or doing energy healing work on people. And I loved it, and I didn't make any money from it. Not much. It was enough to get me by. But I was clear, and I've always been clear, Father, you are the most important thing in my life. And there's been times where we've struggled with the finances. We went through bankruptcy back in 2002, and I'm like, God will provide, God will provide. Yeah, but you better get off your butt and do something too, And so, it was a teaching. It was a teaching that I learned, and then all of a sudden the doors started opening. My brother says, hey, you could retire early and, take your Social Security and you might be better off. I'm like, okay. All of a sudden I found that was true. All of a sudden, when I did that, I was young and not knowing what was going on when I was working with General Motors. And I found out right after my retirement, they sent me something and said, you may have a pension with GM, who I worked with for 8 years. Turns out I had $39,000 a pension. Now, you can say, well, yeah, that's just poor management, Brett. That's not manifesting, That's true. It was. I didn't have a good memory of it or was ignorant, whatever it was. All I know is I just ended up with $39,000. I'm okay with that. So I have found more and more how God keeps taking care of me. I don't have a desire to be somebody anymore. I know we have a lot of ambitions growing up, and Krishnamurti puts it very beautifully. He said, let's be honest about what the dream is. The dream is you get an education, you go out there into the world, you destroy the competition, you make lots of money, and then you die. And that's a lot of truth of how our life is. But ambition, from a sage's point of view, ambition is not a good thing. Because what are we ambitious for? If you want to be ambitious for God or living as the truth of who you are, fantastic. But if you want ambitions of making a successful, look, I'm not opposed to anybody having a successful business. Fantastic. As long as you're clear on, what your primary goal is. There's a lot of things in here that we talked about. The title is, with God, all things are possible. And I feel like in some ways I've kind of spoken around it in some ways, but it really all comes down to the only way we can create all of this is to recognize that to open our hearts, open our minds to say, hey, look, I don't know how to accomplish this, but I don't need to because God does, right? This is really key. I don't need to know how to accomplish this thing. All I need to do is say, Father, I'm giving this over to you. I don't know how this is going to happen, but I trust that it can, that it is possible. And so that's what opens the doors for miracles to happen. Miracles. Don't limit yourself in any way. If you've got something going on physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, whatever it is, can you recognize that it's all possible and that it can happen in an instant? It can happen in an instant. My friend once asked me, Brett, do you believe that God could heal the world? And I'm like, whoa, what a great question. And I thought, yeah, God could heal the world. And then he said, yeah, but why doesn't he? I'm like, that's another good question. But for me, it's not about God healing the world per se. It's about God awakening us to who we are. And so when the timing is right, when you open up to the infinite possibilities of who you are, yes, you, all of you. When you open up to the infinite possibilities of who you are, then you open the door for God to give it all to you. I love being here. I love being in this space. I had a little bit of a sore throat last night, and I'm like, oh God, I don't want to miss it. I, of course, blew it last time I was here by coming the prior week. And then somebody had given, I forgot who it was, somebody had given Reverend Judy the idea. It's like, hey, what about him doing it on Zoom? You know what, I'm grateful for Zoom, but oh man. And I didn't have an audience to either cheer me or boo me on, you know. And so I had to do it a second time, actually, because I'm like, that just didn't feel right to me. But so last night, I had a little bit of a sore throat, and I told my wife, I go, I'm very sensitive and aware of my body, and I go, I'm not 100% right now. I want to go to bed. I gargle with some lemon and sea salt water, rinse my throat out, and I make sure that I'm fasting as much as I can, clearing my body out. I'm doing whatever I can. I go to bed early. And I don't know about you, like when I have to get up earlier than I used to, all of a sudden I can't just go to bed earlier and just expect to sleep, right? So I go to bed, I'm in bed an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I just like, okay, I'm just getting up and I'm going to meditate. So I got up and I just meditated, and I was noticing my mind going, man, I really want to make it there tomorrow. Can you let that thought go? Man, but I'm just so afraid I'm going to get sick. Can you let that thought go? And by the way, who is the one that's saying, I am afraid? It is not you. The essence of who you are that is aligned with God is not afraid of anything, and is rest in pure love, peace, and joy is the truth of who it is. So when you hear this, I am sick, no. Maybe the body might not be doing well, but it's not you. And it's good to make that discernment, because God will give you these opportunities to get clear on who is the one that's saying, I am cold, I am hungry, I am sick, I am angry. You are not that. The only way you can say I am to be the truth is to just say, I am. That's it. No labels after it. And so I'm telling you these things because when you start working with your goals and these miracles is only just something happening that is beyond the belief of our mind, right? When you start working with these things are going to come up. Fine. They're supposed to come up. Let them come up. You simply be aware of them and allow them to pass on by, just like a meditation. Allow it to pass on by. You don't need to fight it. You don't need to wish it would go away. You don't need to try to get rid of your experiences. Simply notice it and allow it to pass on by. So for whatever that thing is you have going on, my prayers and my blessings are with you for moving all the way through it to return back to who you are, because everything you have been looking for is here right now in this moment. It's always been there. It will always be there. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Judy Carnego, a member of your Board of Trustees. Would everyone at home and everyone here in the sanctuary please join me in our board affirmation? God is the breath of life, the vitality in my body and being. And now as the ushers come forward, please take your tithes and offerings and join me in our offertory blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
This is Meditation from Thais by Jules Massenet.
Brandon, that was beautiful. Let us hold the following thoughts in prayer. Loving Spirit, we acknowledge that we are blessed in so many ways. Thank you for these gifts received today and throughout the week. We know that they will be put to good use so that we may continue to be a positive path for spiritual living here in our community. May everyone enjoy and feel prosperous in their daily lives, knowing that everything is as it should be, and with God, all things are possible. And so it is. And as we bring our service to a close, I invite you to stand and join me in our prayer for protection. Together, may the light of God surround us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And as we close with the peace song, if you're comfortable, join hands with your neighbor or just place your hand on your heart and connect within.